I have a choice to make, right? I can either I always think there's pain involved either way. There's pain in giving up yourself to play along, and then there's pain in not playing along, but in staying true to yourself.
Hi, and welcome to Courtside Conversations. This episode is for the woman ready to trust herself again. I hope you enjoy. Today, I am joined by Marlenne Johnson, a woman who I've known for a couple years now and who I admire for her depth and warmth. Marlenne, thank you so much for joining me.
Hey, Courtney, no, thanks for having me.
Can you share with our listeners just a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so let's see. I'll go the personal side and then talk about like the journey of a professional. But I live in Pennsylvania, in the U.S., in the East Coast. I was originally born in the Dominican Republic, migrated to the States when I was about 10, and have lived here ever since in, different systems, different environments. And that's just, made me who I am. And I live with my husband. We have 3 cats. And work-wise, I have been in HR in some capacity for about a decade.
What are your cats' names?
My cats' names are Buck, Harvey, and Minerva, but we call Minerva Minnie.
Cute.
Yeah,
Cute, cute.
those are my children.
I love it. I love it. And then, Marlenne, can you share with our listeners how you and I know each other?
Mm. Yeah, so you and I worked at Equinix for about 3 years or so. We were in different teams, but either ran past each other in different projects or just knew of each other because I think you gravitate and are passionate about similar things that I am. And I think when you do that, you tend to run into people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said. You, whether you're trying to or not, you find your people. So,
Yes,
um,
exactly.
and then, um, what are you drinking today with
Yes.
me?
So I have a coffee with some I think it's like butter pecan cream, but that's the coffee.
Ooh. Oh, and what
Mhm.
is your mug? What is your mug all about?
Hmm. So my mug is of a woman, black woman. It says, "I am proud of myself."
Oh, I love that. Love
Yeah.
that. Well, cheers while we get started. Cheers to you.
Cheers.
So can you tell us a little bit about your journey in HR? Like what have you done?
Yeah. So my journey in HR is funny. I originally went to school for psychology. I wanted to be a therapist. And someone said to me, it'd be good if you have a backup. And I double majored in business. After graduating, I wanted to just see if HR was for me. So I started out in payroll, submitting payroll for like 1,000 people facility, quickly got into like onboarding, employee engagement, talent acquisition. Then I got into some of the like talent marketing, culture change, a little bit of employee relations investigations. And then I pivoted into like more of the strategic side around with talent management, organizational design, change management. So I feel like it's been a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Is there one part that you love most?
What I love to do is transformation and strategy, restructuring things, redesigning them, rebuilding any way, shape, or form where I am reimagining an organization with leaders and people is my favorite thing to do.
What I love to ask people is because we hear about your career journey, and anyone can kind of look at your journey on paper and see it for what it says. But what would someone not see when they look at your career journey?
I think that they would not see that I think I've been through a lot and a lot of it has been difficult and I have kept my sense of optimism, I would say, and it's not optimism rooted in my environment, but rooted in who I am. I think I come across very like positive, and I think a lot of people sometimes misconstrue that for I don't know, like a lack of depth, lack of struggle, or a lot of times not even like understanding air quotes the game. And I have made a decision not to play the game.
Whoa. Optimism not rooted in my environment, but rooted in who I am. That is, that's powerful. How how did you get how did you get that? How did you get to a place where you were just so sure of who you are and you trust that?
Uh, through a lot of work. I started out in a very male, manufacturing environment, and I felt like I didn't belong, and I felt like I needed to change, and I kept thinking, like, "What is wrong with me? Like, how do I show up in the way that's gonna make me successful?" And it was just too taxing, right? Um, and for me, it's been about like I have a choice to make, right? I can either I always think there's pain involved either way. There's pain in giving up yourself to play along, and then there's pain in not playing along but in staying true to yourself. And I think for me has just been a series of decisions of what's going to be better for me in the long term. And I think there have been times where I feel like I did everything right and it still didn't work. So I'm like, what's the point? And I think when you find your people, they gravitate towards you. You don't have to do anything. And if you're not going to be good enough for anybody, for everybody, why not just be who you are? So I think to answer your question, it's just been a lot of trial and error, a lot of conscious decision, and I think just a lot of exhaustion. There's not wanting to do something that didn't feel right for me.
Yeah, yeah. Choose your pain,
Choose
is the
your pain.
well, that's bit yeah, dang. You just said, like, in HR, you started off an environment that was, largely male dominated and you really felt like you didn't belong. One of the questions that I open this podcast with is, if you could share with me an experience of where you either felt like you truly belonged in the workplace or a moment when you realized you didn't, and if you could talk us through what that was like for you.
Yeah. So when I started out in this environment, there were a lot of males much older than me, much hierarchically higher than me. And there was this unspoken expectation that you had to be like really bold, really loud, really assertive. Um, and I would be in these meetings where I would see that, I would think about who I am, and I would want to get my point across. I want to be respected. I want to people to see that I'm talented, that I know what I'm doing, that I can make a business impact. But I just it didn't feel right for me to do it in that way. And I didn't know who I was or how to do it a different way. So I think for me that translated into being quiet a lot, just like protect. And I'm gonna focus on the work that I can deliver like tactically, like the output, a presentation, a program, what have you. Um, and that just always made me feel very isolated. And at the same time, I worked with a group of women and that were older than me, more experienced than me, and they were just really vulnerable with me around their experiences. And that made me feel like, okay, I can do this. I don't, I'm not alone. This is not strange. And we also formed like this really like deep friendship or like bond. And I think that built like this weird microcosm of like I don't belong, but then I also belong with these group of like super intelligent, talented, powerful women in this environment, which I think that's why I stayed as long as I did.
Yeah. Yeah, so it sounds like you felt like you didn't belong because what was being asked of you of, like, how you show up wasn't aligned with who you are, and then you found your community that helped you feel that sense of belonging, and you were able to really connect with them as humans.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the one thing I would say around being asked how to be is that a lot of times environments don't tell you how to be, but they certainly set norms of what's like expected.
Yeah, totally. I mean, like, what they say culture is not words on a wall. It's, the behaviors that are tolerated, essentially. Can you share with me the best or worst career advice you ever received and how that shaped you?
There's a leader that reached out to a couple of times for mentorship, and I would walk with him through different things that happened or experience, and I didn't know what to do, how to handle. And he told me when I'm going through really hard times and I don't know what to do, I ask myself, what would I have liked to have happened when I look back? And that just shook me because I'm like, oh, okay, it's not even about what you want to do, it's like your future self. And that I heard that at a time where I needed to hear it recently, and it stuck with me.
Yeah, I love it. And what would 5 years down the road, what do you wanna look back and say what happened?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's powerful. When has self-doubt shown up for you throughout your career?
like 5 minutes ago. I I think early on it was about finding my voice. Like, should I say something? Should I show up? Should I take space? Um, and am I good enough? Do I have the experience? Do I fit all the boxes? Do I check all the marks? And when I do check all the marks, is that good enough? Should I do more? And when people don't want you, you can create additional boxes.
Dang. Yeah, when people don't want you, you make up new boxes that you're trying to check.
Yeah.
So when self-doubt has come up for you, how have you been able to move forward anyway?
Yeah, I think it sounds so simple, but I think admitting in it, I don't feel good enough. I'm really insecure. Like, honor what you feel. It doesn't have to be your fault. It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be bad. But I think pretending that reality isn't what it is just gonna make things more difficult. And I think finding community of people that you trust, that you respect, and telling them how you feel. And like 99.9% of the time, you find people that are like, I have felt that. And sit with that. It's your reality. You don't have to fast forward it. You make more informed choices about what you want to do if you're grounded in who you are, what you're dealing with, what you're feeling, and what the situation is.
Yeah. Honor your truth and find community.
Mhm.
Mm. If you were given the opportunity, or let's just say, what would you do differently if you were starting your career journey today?
Mm. I go back and forth between nothing because it's led me to who I am, and I think taking more risks earlier on. Listen to my gut, but I can listen to my gut now because of all the times that I didn't, right? It's like taught me, okay, maybe you were right, but I don't want to pass a lot of, I don't want to pass like regret or judgment to like 10 years ago, Marlene, or 5 years ago, Marlene. She was doing her best with the best that she had. And she, you know, molded me into the person that I am. So I have a lot of appreciation for her. Yeah.
That's right. Her experiences have made you who you are.
Shout
Yeah.
out to her.
Okay. Are you up for a lightning round?
Please, let's do it.
Okay. So, yeah, basic lightning round rules. First thing that comes to your mind, don't overthink it. My questions are all work related, so just know that lens.
Mhm.
Okay. Virtual or in person?
Virtual.
Standing desk or sitting desk?
Standing desk.
What is your least favorite office jargon?
Alignment.
Biggest workplace pet peeve?
Putting in responsibility on the individual for things bigger than them.
What would Marlene 20 years ago say if she saw you now?
You're kind of a badass. How'd you do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, my last question for you is what is bringing you joy these days?
So I started a podcast as well. So a podcast name is My Story Is Not Unique. is a place for people to share their personal lived experiences in work, outside of work, life story, different instances of things that they lived through or haven't lived through. Uh, I I actually co-started it with my co-host Letitia, and that is a space where we talk to different people from all walks of life. And I think that there is this kind of unspoken expectation that your story only becomes worth listening to or hearing once you have made it. Your story is worth telling because it's real and it happened and it's yours. And I think the people that inspire me the most are people that are like me every day, just common people trying to make it happen. One day they're inspirational, the next day that they're scared, and that's where I'm finding a lot of joy and refreshment in life. I would say.
You keep coming back to, like, the power of community, and that feels really, really just sort of, like, innate, like, deep in you.
I think it's the only thing we really have, right? It's like the epitome of like the foundation of being alive. It's just being you, and then like finding other people that you can do it with.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I so appreciate your insights today. The things that I'm taking away from this conversation are, 1, the power of trusting and knowing yourself, and the power of community, just in healing and in feeling like you're not in this alone.
Yeah.
I am so grateful that you shared with us. The last thing I ask my guests to do is to share their favorite toast with me.
I was born in the Dominican Republic, and there's a very famous sort of like thing that's said when people toast, and it's like arriba, abajo, afuera, adentro.
Yeah, I love it. Can we do it together one time?
Sure, sure. So
Okay.
arriba,
Uh,
abajo, afuera, adentro. Cheers to us.
Cheers to you. Thank you, Marlene. And listeners, thank you so much for listening in. If anything that you heard today resonates, please do share this podcast with a woman that you love. And if you and I are not connected yet on LinkedIn, please come find me. I'd love to say hi. I'm always listening. And until next time, cheers. I'll catch you courtside.